Today, we are counting down 11 Harley-Davidson motorcycles that dealers are trying to dump as fast as possible. These are bikes that were supposed to be home runs, but instead turned into showroom ghosts, sitting untouched while discounts keep getting deeper. Stick around, because number one is a bike that was hyped as the future of the brand, but ended up becoming one of the biggest dealer headaches Harley has ever created. Let's get started. Number 11. Sportster S. Harley-Davidson needed a win when they launched the Sportster S. This was supposed to be the rebirth of one of the most iconic names in motorcycle history. Lighter, faster, more modern, and aimed directly at younger riders. On paper, the Sportster S looked like a home run. It was powered by the Revolution Max 1250 engine, producing 121 horsepower and 94 pound-feet of torque, making it the most powerful Sportster Harley had ever built. 0 to 60 came in under 4 seconds, and the bike featured ride modes, traction control, cornering ABS, and a full TFT display. Harley was not playing it safe. They completely abandoned the old air-cooled V-twin formula and went all in on performance. But that was also the problem. Traditional Harley riders did not see it as a real Sportster. It did not sound like one, it did not feel like one, and it did not look like one. The forward-mounted foot controls, combined with a tall seat height, created an awkward riding position that felt neither cruiser nor sport bike. Long rides were uncomfortable, short rides felt cramped, and the tiny peanut-style fuel tank meant frequent stops. Then there was the price. With a starting price hovering around $15,000, buyers started asking uncomfortable questions. For that money, you could buy a lowrider S, a used Road Glide, or a far more practical naked bike from another brand. New riders found it intimidating. Experienced riders found it impractical, and Harley loyalists rejected it outright. The result? Sportster S models began stacking up on dealer floors. And while Harley continues to promote it as the future, dealers are quietly discounting them just to get them moving. Number 10. Nightster. The Nightster was supposed to fix everything the Sportster S broke. This was Harley's attempt at a true entry-level modern bike. Lighter, cheaper, and more approachable than the Sportster S, while still using the Revolution Max platform. It featured the Revolution Max 975T engine, producing 90 horsepower and 70 pound-feet of torque, paired with modern electronics, ride modes, ABS, and traction control. Harley marketed it as the new gateway motorcycle, perfect for younger riders and city use. But almost immediately, it fell into an identity trap. Experienced riders found it underpowered and visually plain, while new riders found it expensive and intimidating. At a starting price near $13,000, buyers realized they could get a Japanese naked bike with more features, better ergonomics, and proven reliability for thousands less. Then there was the styling. The Nightster tried to walk a fine line between modern and classic, but ended up pleasing no one. Traditional riders thought it looked cheap and generic, while younger riders saw it as bland and overpriced. Dealer enthusiasm quickly faded. Accessory options were limited, and resale value dropped fast. Now many dealerships are sitting on Nightsters that simply are not moving, even with incentives, and the bike that was supposed to bring new blood into Harley is instead becoming another slow seller. Number 9. Fat Bob. The Fat Bob 114 is one of the most polarizing bikes Harley has ever built. Harley redesigned the Fat Bob with aggressive styling, a squared LED headlight, inverted front forks, and a muscular stance meant to appeal to performance-focused riders. Powered by the Milwaukee 8 engine, it produced massive torque and strong straight-line performance, paired with improved suspension and braking compared to older Softails. On paper, it was one of the best riding Softails Harley had ever produced, but the styling split the fan base in half. Traditional Harley riders hated the modern aggressive look, calling it too futuristic and not Harley enough. Performance riders compared it to bikes like the Indian Scout and found it heavy and expensive. With a price creeping into the high teens, buyers started cross-shopping, and the Fat Bob struggled to justify its position. It wasn't comfortable enough for touring, not light enough for true performance, and not classic enough for Harley purists. Sales never matched expectations, and as newer performance-focused models like the Lowrider S and ST gained attention, the Fat Bob was left behind. Today, many dealers are quietly trying to clear Fat Bob inventory using discounts and incentives because the bike simply does not attract buyers the way Harley hoped. Number 8. Electra Glide Revival. Harley-Davidson knows nostalgia sells, or at least that was the idea. The Electra Glide Revival was part of Harley-Davidson's Icon collection. It was a limited-run bike designed to tap into classic 70s styling, with white paint, vintage badging, wire wheels, and retro details meant to remind riders of Harley's golden era. Underneath the retro look, it was based on modern touring hardware, powered by the Milwaukee 8 engine, with modern brakes, suspension, and electronics. On paper, it sounded like the perfect blend of old and new, but the timing could not have been worse. The Revival launched at a price pushing $30,000, right as buyers were becoming far more price-sensitive. For that money, riders could buy a fully loaded Street Glide, or even step into a used CVO model. Then there was the limitation problem. Because it was a numbered limited model, many riders felt hesitant to actually ride and customize it. Harley buyers love personalization, but drilling into a limited edition collector bike felt wrong. You were paying a premium for nostalgia, while losing the freedom that makes Harley ownership appealing. The result was that the Revival looked great on the showroom floor, but buyers walked past it, and dealers were left holding inventory that appealed to a very narrow audience. Now, many of these bikes are quietly being discounted despite their limited status, because nostalgia alone is not enough to move a $30,000 touring bike. Number 7. Road King Special. The Road King Special is one of those bikes everyone praises online, but strangely struggles in real-life dealerships. It features the stripped-down bagger look, blacked-out finishes, hard saddlebags, and a front end without a windshield. Powered by the Milwaukee 8 engine, it delivers plenty of torque and classic Road King presence. On paper, it should be an easy sell. But here's the issue. Buyers looking for touring comfort quickly realize they want a fairing, a stereo, and wind protection, which pushes them toward the Street Glide or Road Glide. Meanwhile, riders who want a stripped-down cruiser look at Softails that are cheaper, lighter, and easier to live with. The Road King Special ends up stuck in the middle, too expensive for a minimalist bike, and not comfortable enough for serious touring. With prices often climbing well above $25,000, buyers begin questioning value, especially when a Street Glide Special offers far more features for similar money. As a result, many dealers report Road King Specials sitting far longer than expected, often requiring incentives to move. It is not a bad motorcycle. It is simply a bike without a clear buyer anymore. Number 6. Lowrider ST. The Lowrider ST arrived with massive hype. This was Harley-Davidson's answer to the performance bagger trend, combining the aggressive lowrider platform with a frame-mounted fairing and compact saddlebags. It was powered by the Milwaukee 8-117 engine, producing huge torque. The bike came with upgraded suspension and brakes, and it looked like something straight out of a custom shop. At launch, demand was insane. Markups were common, and dealers were asking well over the manufacturer's suggested retail price. But that excitement faded fast. Once the hype cooled, buyers started looking at the price. Many lowrider ST models were pushing $30,000 after dealer adjustments. For that money, riders could buy a full-size touring bike with better comfort, better storage, and more long-distance capability. Others realized that if they wanted a performance softail, the Lowrider S delivered most of the experience for significantly less money. The Lowrider ST also suffered from limited practicality. The saddlebags were small, wind protection was improved, but still not touring level, and long rides exposed the compromises of the platform. Today, many dealers are sitting on Lowrider ST inventory long after the initial hype wave passed, and some are quietly cutting prices to bring buyers back in. The bike is still desirable, but not at the price it is asking, and that has turned it into another slow mover on showroom floors. Number 5. Heritage Classic. The Heritage Classic used to be one of Harley-Davidson's safest bets. Classic styling, a comfortable ride, and touring looks without the full touring size. It was the bike for riders who wanted nostalgia with real usability. Powered by the Milwaukee 8-114 engine, the Heritage Classic delivers smooth torque, a relaxed riding position, and removable windshield and bags, making it feel versatile on paper. But over time, it quietly lost its place. The biggest problem was price creep. As Harley-Davidson kept adding features and raising prices, the Heritage Classic started edging into full touring bike territory without actually being a touring bike. Buyers noticed that for a few $1,000s more, they could step into a street glide with better wind protection, better tech, and more long-distance comfort. At the same time, riders who wanted a simpler cruiser realized they could save money by choosing a standard softail and adding accessories later. The Heritage became squeezed from both sides, too expensive for nostalgia buyers and not capable enough for touring buyers. Sales slowed, inventory lingered. Dealers began relying on incentives to move bikes that once sold themselves. The Heritage Classic did nothing wrong. The market simply moved on without it. Number 4. Ultra Limited. There was a time when the Ultra Limited was the ultimate Harley-Davidson. This was the top-tier touring machine, with a full fairing, a tour pack, heated grips, passenger comfort, and all the long-haul luxury Harley could offer. It was powered by the Milwaukee 8-114 engine, built for crossing states in comfort. But buyer preferences changed. Modern riders started favoring sleeker baggers, lower weight, and cleaner designs. The Ultra Limited became associated with older demographics, and that perception hurt demand. With prices often climbing past $30,000, buyers began questioning whether they really needed the top box, the extra weight, and the added bulk. Many realized they could get 90% of the touring experience from a street glide or road glide, for less money and with a sportier feel. As a result, ultra-limited models began sitting longer on showroom floors, especially as younger buyers skipped over them entirely. Dealers now frequently struggle to move these bikes, relying on discounts and trade deals to clear inventory. The Ultra Limited is still comfortable, still capable, but it represents a touring era that fewer riders are buying into. Number 3. Sport Glide. The Sport Glide was supposed to be the perfect middle ground. It was lighter than a touring bike, more capable than a Softail, and easily customizable. It featured a frame-mounted mini fairing, detachable hard bags, and the Milwaukee 8-107 engine, designed to appeal to riders who wanted versatility. But once again, Harley created a bike without a clear identity. Riders who wanted touring comfort found the fairing too small and the bags too limited. Riders who wanted a cruiser found it heavier and more complex than necessary. Performance-focused buyers skipped it entirely. Pricing also worked against it, with Sport Glide models sitting close enough to touring bikes that buyers simply chose to upgrade. Sales never met expectations, and Harley quietly discontinued the model. That did not solve the dealer problem. Many Sport Glides are still sitting unsold, especially used and leftover units that struggle to attract attention. The Sport Glide tried to be everything at once and ended up being ignored. Number 2. CVO Road Glide. This is where things start to get ugly for dealers. The CVO Road Glide is supposed to be the ultimate expression of Harley-Davidson luxury, power, and exclusivity. Custom vehicle operations models are marketed as the absolute top of the line. Special paint, premium finishes, upgraded components, and factory exclusivity you cannot get anywhere else. The CVO Road Glide is powered by the Milwaukee 8-121 engine, delivering massive torque, strong acceleration, and premium suspension and brakes, paired with a massive touchscreen and high-end audio. On paper, this is a dream touring bike. But then comes the price. With the manufacturer's suggested retail price pushing $50,000, the conversation changes immediately. Buyers start comparing, and that comparison is brutal. For the price of one CVO Road Glide, you could buy 2 Street Glide Specials or a Road Glide Special plus a full custom build and still have money left over. Most riders quickly realize that 90% of the riding experience comes from the standard touring models. The extra money buys paint, branding, and factory-installed upgrades that many riders would rather choose themselves. Resale value only makes things worse. CVO bikes drop hard the moment they leave the dealership because the buyer pool is extremely small, and most used buyers would rather save money and customize. In the current economy, very few riders are willing to finance a $50,000 motorcycle. Dealers are now sitting on CVO Road Glides longer than almost any other model, offering incentives, discounts, and creative financing just to get them off the floor. It is not that the bike is bad, it is that the price pushed it beyond reality. Number 1. Pan America Special. This is the bike that hurts the most. The Pan America was supposed to change everything. This was Harley-Davidson's bold entry into the adventure bike world, a signal that the brand could compete with BMW, KTM, and Honda on their own turf. Powered by the Revolution Max 1250 engine, the Pan America delivered 150 horsepower, modern electronics, multiple ride modes, cornering ABS, traction control, and the adaptive ride height system that lowered the bike at stops. On paper, it was impressive, but the problem was trust. Adventure riders are some of the most brand-loyal riders in motorcycling, and Harley was an outsider. Buyers questioned long-term reliability, off-road durability, dealer support, and resale value. Then early issues appeared. Some owners reported electronic glitches, suspension behavior that felt unpredictable, and strange low-speed handling, especially off-road. While Harley addressed many of these problems, the damage was already done. Adventure buyers want proven platforms. They want bikes with decades of field testing, and Harley simply did not have that history. Pricing made things worse. Once fully optioned, Pan America Special models climbed well into the mid-20s, placing them directly against category leaders with far stronger reputations. Sales slowed, inventory built up, and now dealers are aggressively cutting prices, sometimes thousands below MSRP, just to move bikes. The Pan America is not a failure in engineering, but it became a failure in market fit. It was too different for Harley purists and too unproven for adventure riders. And that is why today, it is the #1 bike dealers are desperate to dump. And that wraps up our list of 11 Harley-Davidson motorcycles that dealers are trying to get rid of as fast as possible. Do you agree? Have you seen any of these bikes sitting untouched at your local dealership? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more real-world Harley breakdowns, and we will see you in the next one.